What the hell was going on during the PS2 era? Fellas, somehow one single console gave us all these bangers. There's a reason the PlayStation 2 is the best-selling console of all time. Plenty of reasons, actually. But one of them is that PS2-era games were just that peak. Well, some more than others, I guess. Now, this is the part where you might think, oh great, another boomer nostalgia trip going on about how things were better back then and blah blah blah. People love to dismiss it as pure nostalgia. And, well, kinda is, but I don't think that's the whole story. There's just something about games from that era that hits different, you know? Let's do a little exercise here. You who lived through gaming in the 2000s, or that at least played some games from back then. What's your Mount Rushmore of PS2-era games? Your personal top 4 hits from that generation? Think about it and drop it in the comments so everyone can discover more good stuff from that era. I'll be revealing mine throughout the video too. But anyway, back to it. Stop and think about all those masterpieces we got during the PS2 era. How do you not miss that level of variety? Every game felt completely different from the last one. And it's not just about quantity, it's about quality too. Tell me, which one of these characters is more memorable? Ooh, yeah. I bet you were thinking about the one on the right, who doesn't love, well, whatever this is. Yeah, as if. Okay though. Maybe it's a little unfair of me to pull up Concord as an example. But these days you can count on one hand the AAA games that actually try something different and bring something new to the table. And brand new IPs? Man, those things are becoming an endangered species. But enough about that. I'm not here to just keep bitching about the state of the industry these days, so let's talk about some PlayStation 2 classics. Like, how not to miss the absolute dread we felt with Silent Hill 2. That game had an atmosphere so creepy it felt illegal. Hell, even Resident Evil 4 scared the living crap out of me as a kid with that village. And speaking of which, that's actually the first name I'm revealing from my Mount Rushmore. Man, I procrastinated playing Resident Evil 4 for years. I'd boot the game up, get to the village, panic, close the game, repeat. That was basically my entire RE4 experience for a while. I didn't actually play it until I was older, and ever since then I've played pretty much every Resident Evil game at launch. What a game, fellas. The PS2 era was peak because it was the last time the industry hadn't figured out the formula yet. That corporate baking recipe that makes the average modern AAA title look and feel exactly like the last one, but with a different skin. Back then, every game had a unique design, unique gameplay, and even a completely unique aesthetic. And that aesthetic thing is so damn cool because it's a direct result of the technical limitations of the time. Even though the PS2 was solid hardware for its time, and the original Xbox was even stronger, it still didn't allow for photorealism. Artists had to be creative, and that resulted in a unique atmosphere and identity for every single game. One famous case in the industry, and also the next name on my Mount Rushmore, is Shadow of the Colossus. Creator Fumito Ueda's original plan was to have 48 colossi roaming the map. 48! Between technical limitations and time constraints, they had to cut most of them, leaving the 16 we know today. Ironically, this limitation is exactly what helped shaping his artistic vision. That vast, solitary and hauntingly beautiful emptiness of the Forbidden Lands. There's no way something like this gets made today in a AAA game. What publisher is going to spend millions of dollars on a game designed to make you feel small? A game that refuses to hold your hand? A game built around an idea that's weird, unconventional and difficult to market? Almost none of them. And before you From Software sexuals start preaching about Dark Souls or Elden Ring and how different and revolutionary they are, Miyazaki's ideas only look this flawless and this insane today because he started way back when there was still room to take risks. That paid off big time over the years and eventually led to the masterpiece that is Elden Ring. But he might not have even been able to pull any of it off if he was starting out today. The man earned that freedom. And thank God he did, because I genuinely don't want to imagine the alternate universe where Miyazaki has to pitch Dark Souls in 2026 to a room full of modern executives.
Hey, Dark Souls fans, the chosen undead is in serious trouble in Honor Lando and needs your help to defeat Ornstein and Smo. He just needs your credit card number on the front and back and the expiration date, but you've got to be quick or he'll get epically owned by the invaders. No decks allowed.
Sorry. Should have added a gore warning or something. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, the sheer volume of wild ideas floating around back then was insane. Looking back, I think the 6th to 7th generation hit this perfect sweet spot where technology had finally become powerful enough to bring crazy, creative visions to life, but budgets weren't massive enough to terrify the suit and tie executives into blocking them. This is how you get a masterpiece about rolling a giant ball of garbage like Katamari, or a game where you cure your wounds by eating frogs in a Soviet jungle like Metal Gear Solid 3. Studios had the freedom to treat games as playground experiments. They weren't building systems designed to capture your retention metrics for the next 5 years. They were just building an experience that was profoundly, unapologetically fun.
Yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes!
That era fostered a completely different gaming culture than what we have today. Sure, the internet existed, but access to information was incredibly scarce. Meaning, you over there, the person who won't even push your left stick forward without Googling a walkthrough first. You didn't have videos, wikis, or social media algorithms spoon-feeding you everything about the game. I mean, forums, walkthrough, and guides existed, but accessing them wasn't anywhere near as seamless as it is today. Was it a total pain in the arse sometimes? Absolutely. I'm not going to pretend getting hopelessly stuck was peak game design. But it created a beautiful culture of genuine discovery. Talking to a friend at school to trade whatever secrets you found, buying gaming magazines, lurking on old forums. Geez, sometimes even reading the back of the game case gave you a clue you desperately needed. Yeah, fellas, physical media. Another thing that's slowly becoming nostalgia. Back then, every disc you put into that tray was a mystery. You genuinely didn't know what to expect. Does anyone even do that anymore? Opening a game without knowing exactly what it looks like? Not to mention the ritual of going to a rental store or a local game shop with your parents, looking at a wall of dozens of games you had never even heard of. That feeling of picking a cover art that looked sick, taking it home, and figuring out what the hell it was. Man, it was magical. People genuinely expected you to choose between GTA San Andreas, God of War, and Devil May Cry. And the best part? Those games belonged to you. There was an unspoken contract of trust back then. You held the plastic, you owned the data. No server updates could alter the game code overnight. No licensing dispute could suddenly wipe your digital library or delete a game you paid full price for. Now don't get me wrong, the PS2 era wasn't some flawless golden age either. Because there were so many bizarre ideas, a lot of them naturally flopped hard. The chances of going into a GameStop, seeing an insane cover, taking it home and being greeted by whatever this is, were pretty high. And let's not pretend quality of life was a thing either, because it was not. You literally needed a complete separate physical device just to save your progress. Man, I'll never forget playing Zatch Bell while leaving my PS2 turned on for days straight, because I didn't own a memory card yet. Good times. Even with 240p CRT TVs and a wired controller limiting how far you could sit from the couch, that's where we were introduced to universes that were genuinely character-defining. Think about the impact of being a teenager playing Bully. You had all that classic rockstar freedom, but set in a school environment. And that brings us to the third member of my Mount Rushmore. I don't know, everything about it. The aesthetic, Bulworth Academy, the classes, the characters, the soundtrack. That game just hits me on a deep level, even more than GTA San Andreas. Words can't describe the memories I made in that school, guys. It honestly hurts knowing we'll probably never see a sequel or anything remotely like Bully ever again, which makes me think about so many other legendary genres that just went extinct, with no revival in sight, like Guitar Hero. Man, who didn't become a fan of a specific band or song just from learning how to play it on that plastic guitar? I swear to God, who even was Slash compared to 12-year-old me in my prime with a controller in hands? And don't even get me started on racing games. It was the absolute golden age of them, with the insane heights of Need for Speed and Midnight Club. That era was absolutely stacked. To this day, fellas, we still haven't gotten arcade racing games with that much attitude. And before we wrap this up, I still owe you the final member of my Mount Rushmore. I bet you didn't see this one coming. But my last pick is none other than Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Boy, this game is easily the best MK in history for me, and it isn't even a traditional fighting game like the others. I don't even know how highly regarded it is in the broader community nowadays, but if you played it, or at least remember it, let me know there in the comments. The amount of times I fought through that damn monastery, more times than I've had glasses of water in my entire life. So, my PS2 Mount Rushmore is officially locked in. Resident Evil 4, Shadow of the Colossus, Bully, and Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. God knows how much it pained me to leave Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi, Naruto Ultimate Ninja, or GTA San Andreas off this list. Oh boy, that era was definitively peak. But make sure to leave yours down in the comments, and let's see who has the best taste here. And my point here isn't to sell you on the narrative that the modern gaming industry is completely worthless, because it's not. We get absolute bangers dropping every single year. It's just that this specific era was magic for a lot of people, despite the games being so much simpler than what we have now. Sure, part of it was growing up with those games. I'm not denying that. But I honestly think even people who were already adults back then look at the PS2 era with a different kind of respect today. Unfortunately, we can't go back in time yet to go through those memories again, but at least we still have a lot of ways to play those games sometimes. The PS2 era wasn't peak because every game was a masterpiece. God knows, plenty of them sucked. It was peak because nobody had figured everything out yet, and sometimes that's exactly where the bangers come from.
I told you. You'd die for that.